अरिहंत सिद्ध सुर उपाध्याय साधु सर्व अर्थ के प्रकाशी मांगलिक उपकारी है। तीन को स्वरूप जानी राग ते भई जो भक्ति काय को नमाए स्तुति को उच्चारी है। धन्य धन्य तुम्ही से काज सब आज गयो कर चोरी बारंबार वंदना हमारी है। मंगल कल्याण सुख ऐसो हम चाहते हो मेरी ऐसी दशा जैसी तुम धारी है। हो मेरी ऐसी दशा जैसी तुम धारी है। वंदितु सव सिद्धे धुव अचल मणु वमम गदिम पत्ते वो छामी समय पाहुड़ मिणमो शुद्ध केवली वणितम। नमः समय साराय स्वानुभूत्या चकासते चित स्वभावाय भावाय सर्वभावांतर चिदे। आचार्य कुंकुंद देव समयसार जी परमागम, commentary by Acharya Amritchandra Dev, and Kalash also by Acharya Amritchandra Dev. Yesterday we completed verse number 49, Gatha number 49. We'll just read that Gatha once more. Arasmarovam mandam avaktam chedana gunamasaddam janiyalinga gahanam जीवम निडिठ संठानम। चैतन्य गुणमय आत्मा अव्यक्त अरस अरूप है। जानो अलिंग ग्रहण इसे यह अनिर्दिष्ट अशब्द है। So this gatha is particularly about practicing discriminative knowledge, and Acharya Amritchandra Dev in the commentary has enumerated 9 different interpretations, okay? 9 different points through which we can practice discriminative knowledge, okay? Out of which 8 were on the negative side and only 1 was positive, okay? So what were from the negative side? That the pure soul is without taste, without form, without smell, without sound, unmanifest, then without touch, without a definable configuration, not apprehensible by any distinguished mark, and last one was endowed with the attribute of consciousness. So out of these 9, only consciousness is from the positive side, positive aspect. All other are not, without, like that. Okay. So all this put together, so for each attribute, there are 6 interpretations. So first 4, without taste, without form, without smell, without touch. Okay. They have got 6 interpretations each. So 6 4s are 24. Then sound also have 6 interpretation. So 30. Then we have definable without a definable configuration. That also has got 6. So 36. Then we have unmanifest. That is also 6. So without a definable configuration was 4 and unmanifest is 6. So it all works out to 40. Then 2, not apprehensible by any distinguished mark and endowed with the attribute of consciousness. All put together, there are 42 interpretations in all, that we discussed yesterday. Now, if you have any questions regarding yesterday's explanation, you can ask right now. Otherwise, we will proceed to the colors. One question Shashikala ji had was that we have covered the senses, but why we have not covered the mind? That was her question. She is right now not here in the class, but anyway, we will discuss that so she can catch up on the recording. So why mind is not included? Because two reasons. One reason is that under the senses, mind is included. Okay. The second reason is that mind, as we all know, that we cannot comprehend pure soul through senses, because through senses we can see only the material things, okay, that which has got touch, taste, smell, and what else, touch, form. Okay, these are four are all the basic characteristics of any matter substance. So soul is not a matter substance, so soul does not possess these qualities. So through senses soul cannot be comprehended, but we have mind, and mind's subject is both formless object and with form object. Soul is a formless object. Okay. So through mind, we can comprehend the soul. Okay. We can recognize the soul through mind. And that's why it is compulsory that the person who wants to realize should have a mind. Okay. So five sensed being without mind cannot comprehend, cannot realize their soul. Okay. Because they don't have mind. But those who have got a mind, they can experience the soul, because the object of mind is both formless thing and with form thing. So matter is with form, but soul is without form, formless. So mind can comprehend both formless thing and form. So that's why it acts as a medium to realize ourselves. But when the actual self-realization happens, then the functions of the mind also ceases. Okay. Mind is not active at that point of time. But just immediately prior to the self-realization, the conceptual thoughts, vikalp, that arises only in the mind. And those thoughts are about the pure soul. And then pure soul comes into experience, and these conceptual thoughts are destroyed. Okay. So the experience is non-nirvikalp. Okay. No conceptual thoughts are there at that point of time. Okay. But before the self-realization, these conceptual thoughts are there, and mind acts as a function for those thoughts. So this question has been answered. Any other questions from yesterday's explanation? Subhaji, all clear?
I went through only few of the things, Ji. Once I finish learning everything, if I have any,
Okay,
I'll
okay,
ask you.
okay, no
I went
problem.
through only 5 or 6 today.
Okay, okay. Darshit ji?
Yeah, I think I'm clear, but again, I need to read through it and see if there's any doubts. But
Okay,
generally, I'm clear.
okay, okay, good.
Thank you.
So we will proceed with the Kalash, Kalash number 35 and 36. These two Kalash are remaining. So we will finish up this syllabus after doing these two Kalash. Okay. So first one is 35. I'll read the Hindi one. Yes. चैतन्य शक्ति से रहित पर भाव सब परिहार कर, चैतन्य शक्ति से सहित निज भाव नित अवगाह कर। है श्रेष्ठतम जो विश्व में सुंदर सहज शुद्धात्मा, अब उसी का अनुभव करो तुम स्वयं है भव्यात्मा। So the last line says, अब उसी का अनुभव करो. Experience that pure soul only. So this kalash written by Acharya Amrit Chandra Dev motivates us to experience enough of talk, enough of thoughts, enough of conceptual thoughts. Now just simply realize and experience yourself. Okay, that is the message given here in this kalash. We will see the meaning in English. O spiritually inclined souls, Bhavya Atma, those who are supposed to get liberated very soon, those are referred to as spiritually inclined souls. Abandon all states other than the one endowed with the power of consciousness. Abandon all states. All states means all the disposition apart from the consciousness, okay, apart from the power of consciousness. So abandon all other states. That means practice discriminative knowledge between the pure soul and all other states apart from consciousness, because consciousness is the characteristic of the pure soul. Okay, so soul is never devoid of consciousness. Consciousness is its natural characteristics, okay, through which we can identify the soul. And what is this consciousness? Knowledge, 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 knowledge. Every moment we are knowing something, okay. What we are knowing is immaterial, but knowing is very common across all the three times, okay. This never ceases. Even when we are sleeping, our knowing continues. And that's why we remember that yesterday I had seen this dream, you were sleeping. So still your knowledge was working. So you realize that it was sleep. Then sometimes we said, I had a very deep sleep. So how do you know? Because knowledge is working. Sometimes you said my sleep was disturbed yesterday night. So how do you know? Because your knowledge is working all the time, all the time. Okay. So this knowledge, this consciousness is always manifesting. Okay. So abandon all state other than the one endowed with the power of consciousness, Chaitanya Shakti. So it is not only the Chaitanya Shakti, but along with Chaitanya Shakti, that is along with the power of consciousness, there are other infinite powers, infinite attributes, infinite nature, and infinite properties. Okay, so it is not only consciousness. Here it is written with the power of consciousness, Chaitanya Shakti, but along with that there are infinite other powers. Then what you do? Immerse yourself directly in your own state, consisting solely of the power of consciousness. Okay, immerse yourself, absorb in yourself, okay, directly in your own state, consisting solely of the power of consciousness, Chaitanya Shakti. Behold, behold means to look at, realize and directly experience within yourself that one imperishable Bhagwan Atma, which transcends all the most beautiful objects of the universe, being distinct from all that is other or non-self and supreme above all. So Acharya Amrit Chandra Dev is motivating us, behold, realize and directly experience. No talks, no discussion, no thoughts. Just simply experience it. Okay. And if you sit for meditation, you'll be able to connect to your soul. Okay. Behold, realize, and directly experience within yourself that one imperishable Atma, which transcends all the most beautiful object of the universe, being distinct from all that is other and supreme above all. It is supreme above all. There is no other object in this universe which is more attractive than our pure soul. Okay, it's it's a house of infinite attributes. One attribute, if I can give you an example, like knowledge. So the total capacity of the knowledge is to know the whole universe along with its past, present, and future modification simultaneously in one moment. This is the power of one attribute. And soul is a house of infinite such attributes. So just imagine there is nothing else supreme than me for myself. Okay. Although true God, true scriptures, true monks are all there, but for me, I am the supreme of all. Okay. So Acharya Amrit Chandra Dev is motivating us, that is, experience yourself, absorb in yourself, immerse in yourself, directly realize yourself. Okay. In Gatha 49, among the attributes beginning with Aras, Aras means without test. So there are other 8, and then the final attribute. The final attribute is the attribute of consciousness, Chetana Gun, which is described as that which brings all philosophical dispute. So we discussed not the last class, but previous to last class, 8 types of different faiths: Vedant, Mimamsa, Bodh, Charvak, 8 different faiths. So this consciousness brings all philosophical disputes to an end. There is no dispute because consciousness is something which is always present, always functioning, knowing. Okay. So the 8 faiths who believes soul to be different are all incorrect. The consciousness is the only characteristics present in the soul. Okay, that is the only characteristics through which we can identify the soul. Although there are infinite attributes, but consciousness has been uh, pointed out differently because first is it has the capacity to know. No other attributes knows themselves. The consciousness knows himself also and other attributes also. And the other logic is that consciousness is always present. Okay. So that makes consciousness the only unique characteristics of the soul. Okay. Which is described as that which brings all philosophical dispute to an end. Since this attribute of consciousness is the unique intrinsic nature of Bhagwan Atma, it is the distinguished mark by which the Atma is recognized. It is for this very reason that it dispels all philosophical disputes, all controversies, all discord. Okay. The infinite attributes which are inseparably associated with it are non-different from it and are encompassed within it. Here, this is referred to as the power of consciousness alone. It is also described as knowledge alone. So, knowledge alone means it does not only have knowledge, but apart from knowledge, there are other infinite attributes which are simply included in the term knowledge alone. So it is not knowledge alone, but along with knowledge, the inseparable infinite attributes are there. From color and the other material characteristics up to the gunasthan. So there are, in the next Gatha 50 to 55, there have been described 29 material characteristics. Okay, 29 characteristics of the material. Okay, it starts with color and ends with gunasthan, that is spiritual stage of development. Okay, from color and the other material characteristics up to the gunasthan, all the states that will be explicitly declared in the forthcoming gathas to be material, Podgalik, are distinct from this Atma, which consists solely of the power of consciousness. Okay, so all those 29 material characteristics are distinct from this Atma, because all those 29 characteristics belongs to the matter. They are simply matter, substance only, and soul is conscious substance. Okay, which consists solely of the power of consciousness. So what the soul have? Soul consists solely of the power of consciousness. That is, soul is identified by the consciousness only. Okay. Consciousness is a specific attribute of the soul. It does not exist in any other substances. Okay. This concluding verse exhorts one to withdraw one's attention, upyog, active consciousness, from all such states and to experience that one imperishable Bhagwan Atma alone, the indivisible whole of infinite attributes and the embodiment of the power of consciousness alone. Chiti Shakti Matra. So along with consciousness, there are other infinite attributes included in that. Okay. So overall, Acharya is motivating us that you now experience yourself, immerse in yourself, absorb in yourself, realize yourself. That is only to be done. And through that only we can progress in the path of liberation and ultimately get liberated. There is no other way, no other way. Okay. Now the last one, Kalash number 36. Now introducing the forthcoming gathas, that is 50 to 55 onwards. Okay. It is not part of our syllabus. So our syllabus ends here, but the scripture continues, and this particular Kalash is composed to introduce the forthcoming gathas. Okay. Chiti Shakti Sarvasva जिन केवल वे है जीव, उन्हें छोड़ कर और सब पुद्गलमयी अजीव. That alone is the Jiva whose entire essence, whose very substance is pervaded by the power of consciousness. So what is this Jiva? It is nothing but consciousness, consciousness, consciousness. Throughout the innumerable space points of the soul, consciousness pervades everywhere. There is nothing else than consciousness. Okay. And along with consciousness, of course, there are infinite attributes, but consciousness has been singled out because it is the characteristic of the soul. It knows self also, and it knows other attributes also. One reason is this. The second reason is it exists in the present also. So that knowing happens all the time. Even one sensed being, okay, also there the knowing goes on and on. The knowledge is very little. Infinite part of a word, that much is the knowledge. But still that knowledge is present. If that knowledge becomes zero, then soul becomes non-living. Okay, but that doesn't happen. So that always exists. That alone is the jiva whose entire essence, whose very substance is pervaded by the power of consciousness. Apart from these, all other dispositions that are devoid of this power of consciousness are entirely material. So what they have formed the characteristics of material? All other dispositions that are devoid of the power of consciousness. So apart from consciousness, everything else belongs to the matter. And wherever consciousness is there, it is always the pure soul. Are entirely material, podgalic, constituted by matter, produced from matter, and nothing but matter itself. The meaning of these words is entirely clear. Hence, no further commentary is required in this contest. The purport of this verse is expressed in the Natak Samaisar as follows. Bhagwan Atma is the embodiment of consciousness, Chaitanya, endowed with infinite attributes. Whatever 29 kinds of states do not accord with consciousness are all merely modifications of matter. So just now we discussed 29 things from color to Gunasthan. All these 29 are not part of consciousness. They are all belong to the material substance. Okay. So they are all podgalic. The consciousness does not exist in them. So they are all podgalic. Okay. So in the next 50 to 55, they will discuss this 29. And then Acharya will say this, all these 29 belongs to the matter substance, and soul is distinct from these 29 attributes. Okay. So this is all we have for this syllabus in this sem, starting from 26 to 38, then 46 and 49. All have been provided, the translations have been provided, and Darshit ji has done correction simultaneously. So those who have taken a printout, they will do the corrections in those copies. Otherwise, those who have not taken a printout can take printout what Darshit ji is sharing right now. So if you have any questions, we can take up.
Sir, I have a question.
Mhm.
When you say these gathas one by one, when you actually read them out in Hindi or Sanskrit, whichever,
Mhm.
is there any way where the gathas are composed in that manner by somebody in a readout manner where we can listen
In
to?
English.
No, even the way you do it. No, not in English. Just the
So
gathas being
so
told.
the transliteration is given, no? You can read the transliteration version.
No, I didn't mean that. Like,
What is he saying? Like Bhaktamara, if you have you're saying it is an audio version like Bhaktamara.
yes, yes.
Okay. Acha,
Is it
audio version. Yeah,
available?
I can
Yeah.
share. I can
Yeah.
share. The whole of Samaisar is available. Gathas and Kalash, everything. I will share.
Okay.
I will
Thanks.
share.
I don't know, when I listen to them, I find a sort of like some sort of a peace.
Yes,
It's
yes,
nice.
definitely. Definitely. It's the supreme scripture of all. And every now and then Acharyas have motivated us to practice discriminative
If
knowledge.
you have only sloka alone, Ji, as he said, only gatha alone,
No, Gatha and both I have.
description is there. Okay.
Both are there. Uh, descriptions descriptions would be there in Hindi, but not
Okay.
in English.
Okay.
Okay.
But I will share for the pronunciation, the Hindi ones will do.
Yeah.
And for understanding, I think there are English versions of Samaisa are available by some other authors who have interpreted in their own manner. One is Soul Science, by the name of Soul Science is Parasmalji Agarwal. And one more is, I think, some other authors. That also PDF I can share. So at least you can understand the meaning of the gathas from
But
there.
this translation is also good, Ji, this time.
This is good, but
Yeah.
this is for selected gathas we have in syllabus.
Yeah.
And that will be whole scripture, you know.
Yeah.
So, so we will be covering up to 144 gathas here in syllabus. And then total gathas are 415. So balance you have to read by yourself. Okay. But I am covering it that in Hindi in Sunday classes. So, but it will take long time, maybe more than 1.5 years to cover up 415 gathas and the kalash in between. Okay, so next week we will start with Purshat Siddhi Upai 111 to 226, except 181 to 208. Those are omitted because those matter we have already covered in Tattvad Sutra. Okay, it is about the conducts of the monk, the 22 afflictions, then we have 22 hardships, then we have 12 bara bhavna, then 10 dharma, gupti, samiti, all these we have covered in Tattvat Sutra. So that is also there in Purshat Siddhi Upai, but that has been omitted from the syllabus. So what you have is 100.
Chadala also we did know, Ji.
Yeah, Chadala not in detail, but Tattvat Sutra we had a very detailed study. So you have 111 to 179, then 209 to 226. Total 88 gathas only as paper 2. Okay. Purshat Siddhi Upai by Acharya Amrit Chandra Dev. First part we have already covered from 1 to 110 last sem. Okay. So this sem it's going to be 111 to 226. So I have shared the soft copy. Those who want to take a printout can take a printout. Those who want to refer through soft copy, they can refer soft copy. Okay. So if there are corrections, I will inform you in the classes while teaching. Just as in some SR we did some of the corrections like that only. Okay. Anything else? So your yesterday's question that when we encounter day-to-day life problems, then we are not able to exactly apply the principles that we have learned, right? So that is a challenge with everybody. Even the enlightened souls are also not successful every time to apply. They also undergo emotions, if they would have applied discriminative knowledge, the emotions would not have evolved. But they also undergo through emotions. Ramchandra ji, carried the dead body of Lakshman, for a considerable period of time. He was not able to accept that fact that Lakshman is dead. He has so much attachment with Lakshman. So still it happened, 6 months he carried the dead body of Lakshman. Although he was a destructional right believer, Shaik Samyak Drashti. So there is no way that he could have turned a wrong believer. No, he will never turn a wrong believer because he was a Saik Samyak Drishti. But still, he had this kind of emotions in him which he could not practice discriminative knowledge and sort out. Okay. Similarly, Bharat Chakravarti also marries 96,000 times. So why? Why cannot they practice discriminative knowledge? So for them also, they are not 100% successful. So it's just a trial and error method. You keep on learning new tricks. You keep on applying. Sometimes you are successful, sometimes you are not. But gradually moving forward, the frequency keeps on increasing. You are more successful than failure. And then when you become a monk, then it becomes a very natural way of life. Okay. But at the householder level, the frequency is quite less, but still it's there, and it depends on our efforts. Okay. So there is nothing wrong in it. Only thing is that you are able to realize that you have not been able to apply the principles. That awareness has been created. That is also very important. Earlier, there was no awareness. We never thought about this, right? But now the thoughts are coming. So that much progress has happened. But to put in practice, you need to practice further, and it will come. Gradually, it will seep in, creep in. Gradually, this discriminative knowledge will creep in our life naturally. Okay. So that was a very good question. And everyone should practice as and where possible, not manifest passions just because the situation demands so. Okay. All this will happen only through practice. And the final call is the eligibility of the moment. So whatever efforts we put in consciously, still the final answer is the eligibility of the moment. And eligibility of the moment of 3 times, past, present, and future, is all predetermined, prefixed. Nobody can change it, so it will happen. Just now we took the example of Ramchandraji and Bharat Chakravarti. They also were not able to change it. Okay, Adinath Bhagwan was also not able to change it. For 83 lakh Purva, he was ruling the kingdom, watching the Nilanjanas dance, you know. So he also could not avoid. So this is something, the eligibility of the moment is the final answer. So what we have to do at our level, we have to put in efforts consciously, whatever we can, and whatever is the outcome, that is eligibility of the moment, that we have to accept it. And when we accept the eligibility of the moment, it is one of the greatest efforts. Okay. Because from time immemorial, we have this inclination to change things. I will see it. How can it cannot be done? I will do it. Then there are so many motivational lecturers, they all keep on motivating that you set a target, you put uh, in your house, you put your target on the wall, and every day morning you see it, and you will see that things get manifested on its own. And there is a movie, Secret or something like that. And there is a book also. But all these, Jainism doesn't say that it happens that way. It is just the eligibility of the moment. Okay. So we are so fortunate not falling into those traps. We are content in what we have, what we are doing, and the vision that we have developed over a period of time is what pushing us to move forward. Okay, in only one direction, as per Jinendra Bhagwan's Agya, Chinvani. Okay. So keep on practicing, and you will be more successful going forward. Okay, anything else? Okay. निज निधि निज में बताई, यह अनंत उपकार है, उसके लिए जिन वाणी माँ को वंदना सत बार है, उसके लिए जिन वाणी माँ को वंदना सत बार है। 9 बार नौकार मंत्र। बोलो द्वात सांगमयी जिनवाणी माता की जय.